Hello everyone, my name is Count Silver, and today I'm going to be doing a tier list for the best girls in Persona 5 Royal Edition. I just beat the game again recently, so I really wanted to go back and kind of look over who really is the best of the best overall. I have some personal biases, but today we're just going to be looking at just their character development, how well they're built upon, their story, all that stuff. We're going to look into everything that makes them great, and I'm going to try to keep my personal biases out of it. And I'm not even going to reveal them here because I don't even want to get it misconstrued or anything. But I will give a fair warning real quick that we might be getting into some spoiler areas, mainly because I'm going to be talking about their story and what basically, makes them the characters that they are and what makes, what they turn out to be. So just a heads up on that. If you haven't beat Royal and you don't want anything coming out that you don't want to know about, feel free to skip this video. That's totally fine. This is more so for my enjoyment more than anything. And I just wanted to go ahead and get started, so let's get on to it. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to go from left to right on these characters. So we're going to start all the way from the far left and go all the way down to the right. And that's how we're just going to do it in that order. I'm going to start out with Lavenza here. She's the manifestation of these two right here. We'll get to them in a minute, but that's Justine. And this is Justine. That's Caroline right there. And she's basically kind of a split, her split personality. So when she becomes one at the end of the main game, Persona 5, the original, she becomes basically she's the warden of the so-called prison that you're entrapped in. I don't feel like I have to say much here. She's kind of a child. I don't know if I don't know how people are gonna feel about that. It's just I can't do it. Personally, she has a really good backstory in my opinion. Like her character is done really well. But as far as a waifu, I guess you could say, I'm not too sure about that. But I. I'm gonna keep her at D. I'm so sorry. I know she's great. She's adorable. I love her. But as far as a character that I would be romantically involved with, I'm it is what it is. I'm so sorry to everyone. You know what? She's still a great character. I'm gonna put her at C. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep her at C now. I've changed my mind. I'm gonna put her at C. She's a really good character. I like her a lot. So she's gonna be at C. I would never get romantically involved with her, but she is a very sweet character. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So who we have next here is the infamous On Takamaki. She is one of the first characters you recruit, other than Ryuji. I might get a lot of flack for this. She is not my favorite character personally. I think she's really cool. Like, once you get to know her, she almost feels like a more of a best friend more than anything to me. Not to say that her romantic involvement doesn't get like better as it goes along, but it just seems like with her character and the way that she's built up with her everything that goes on in her life when she's dealing with Shiho a lot, you almost kind of feel like you're there more of a support system, which of course you're there for her during her photo shoots, and giving her encouragement, that she really doesn't seem like she really needs that much. I'm going to be honest. She just does it herself. You're just kind of there to be like, yeah, go for it. And you're kind of just agreeing with her as she goes along, which is nothing wrong with that. If you need somebody there to be like, hey, just reassure you like, hey, that's a good idea, you should just go for it, that's perfectly fine. But as I played through the game and as I did her confidant, I didn't feel necessarily like we were connecting like that, if that makes sense. If you go to her last tier, she tells you she loves you. That's a heavy word. And I find it interesting that it happens in the spot that it does. And people who have played the game know what I'm talking about. But I mentally and when I'm like playing with through the game, I cannot get past that mental block of I feel more like a very good friend to her. Um, so I'm gonna put her final conclusion at probably B tier. Because she's still a very good character, and she's not even a bad romance to like to have in the game. But just with everything that is going on in the situation, it doesn't feel necessarily correct. I guess if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm sticking her at B. I think that's a pretty well deserved spot. She's great, but putting her at B. Okay, so next we have on our list is I'm sorry if I butcher the name because I'm really bad with it. But this is Chihaya, I believe. She's the fortune teller in the game and one of your confidants that you come across later on in the game when you buy the fake good luck charm from her. I guess it's more of a not really a good luck charm, more of a, how do you put it, a fortune kind of like thing, like good fortune will come upon you. So I guess it's technically a good luck charm. That turns out to be fake. It's just rocks. And basically, you go back and confront her about it, and that's when you get into the deeper side of her story. I'm not sure overall. I feel like she's very like she's very mishated. I feel like a lot of people bring a lot of hate on her. And it's not really justified. She's actually a really cool like confidant in my opinion. Her story is really good. When you find out like what happened to her and like where she came from originally, and what she's doing at that moment in her life, like how she got there. It's really neat to see that progression as you learn more about her, and what she becomes later on. Now, as far as a romantic partner, um, hit or miss. I will say one of the funniest things to me was when she asks you if you're into older women, and you can just be like, "Oh, absolutely," and it has no effect on anything. That's the best part with Persona 5. You will know when you are about to romance a character. So if this isn't one of those moments, you can just whatever, right? You can just like you can just say whatever you want. It really doesn't matter unless you're trying to like get them to like like you more or whatever. But in this instance, it was the best dialogue option. So um, I would say I don't really have a whole lot to say on her. I really like her story, but as far as like getting like to know her intimately, um, it wasn't my favorite route to take. Um, I wouldn't even put it at maybe. I gotta put her at a low B probably. Um, that's where she's gonna stand for now. I might change my mind on that because I'm kind of thinking I might put her in high C, but um, I don't know. She's a good enough character for me personally that I think that I would want to keep her in like that kind of like range. So we'll keep her there for now. Let's move on to the next one. Oh boy, this one this one's controversial. Futaba Sakura. Um, I know how I would say the community is pretty split on Futaba. And I think that's fair of me to say. Um, I really like doing her confidant missions. It's There's a lot of fun to just like walk around and like just like teach her how to become more social and kind of come out of her shell once you do her mission, and recruit her. And I really enjoy her character, and I think most people can agree that they enjoy Futaba's character overall. That's not really the issue. The issue lies in people how they feel about her as a character. I I don't really I don't want to say that she is a. I'm trying to word this so no one gets like offended or anything. Her character is very, when it comes to her like personality, I think that she is better off as kind of like your sister. I know people bring that topic up, and a lot of people hate that when they really like Futaba and they like romancing her. And I'm not gonna hate on any Futaba romancers. I'm not gonna say that she's a bad romance, but she is. She felt like it felt more like I was helping her out more than anything. Kind of like honestly, I would put her over on at this point. I'd put her at a high B. Um, I I think that she is a very just the mannerisms that she has is very little sister like, and I know she's only a year younger than you canonically in the game, but it's it's kind of it's hard for me to look at her any differently after the way she kind of like um confines in you and kind of like is like you're like the only person I can come to with this. And maybe some people find that more romantic than anything, I don't know, but when I see it as a more sisterly type, because I know a lot of people get on you, oh well, she said she can't do anything without you. You know, it's like that doesn't mean necessarily that you have to be without her. You know, it's like you could still be with her. So it's, you know, but you don't have to be dating her. You get what I'm saying. So I'm gonna have to put her at the high B tier, I think, because she is still a good option. But let's move her down. But I do still see her as in like my playthroughs. I always see her as the sister figure. So that's why she's not going to go any higher than the B. And I think it's pretty fitting that she stays in the middle of the pack anyway, because everyone's so split on her. On to the next one. So here we have Haru Okumura, the unfortunate member of the Phantom Thieves that did not get enough screen time, and we all know it. Even in Royal, she didn't get enough time. It's so unfortunate because she is such a good character, I think. They make up for the lack of her being in the game, like with like her like just being like the character that she is. So basically, when you find her, she's in the middle of a kind of a just like just a whole situation. It's just so like it's messed up, like arranged marriage stuff, and her father basically, I'm gonna say, neglecting her. I don't know if anyone else would agree with that. I know she's like rich and she kind of can get whatever she wants, but there's also an emotional neglect there. You know, I think that just isn't filled enough, and I I just think that she is um she's one of the better characters in my opinion to romance. And in fact, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there that I think she's the quote unquote canonical romance. I know I'm not supposed to use that word in RPG, uh, but she seems. It almost seems like they kind of want you to, because if you don't finish her confidant, she's still in her arranged marriage, right? You still like if you don't finish everything up and you don't clean everything up for her, she's still in the position where she is stuck. She is stuck with the company. She is stuck with her arranged marriage. She's just stuck. There's like nothing she can do if you don't help her out. It almost makes it a sense of urgency. Like I want to hang out with Haru because I don't want any of this stuff to happen to her. And she's so sweet. I mean, like she's just like she is the sweetest person. She's also like the scariest in my opinion out of all of the fantasies, even over Makoto. She terrifies me. Her kindness and her lack thereof for other like shadows and stuff, like it's through the roof. I'm gonna put her at A, and I know everyone's going to be thinking like, well, you know, I just think she's just a better character. I'm sorry, she's just one like. Even though she got zero to no screen time and she got done so dirty, she's still a fantastic character. Could you only imagine what they could do if they actually had time with that character? That's something I would be interested to see. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. So here we are. And I'm gonna put her at A just because she's a fantastic. She's just a fantastic pick. I wouldn't say she's perfect. I would not say she's perfect, but she is a fantastic pick. Um, you know what? I can't even find a reason to say she's not perfect. She's going into the S tier. We got our first S tier of the day, boys, and girls. Anyone who's watching, um, I she's just a great character. Like, I love doing her confidant. It was fun hanging out with her, but it was also fun to like help her through her ordeal that she was going through, and really watch her grow as a character. Even though she doesn't get a lot of time, what you can do with her in the short amount of time you get is phenomenal. So I'm gonna keep her at the S tier. And on to the next one. All right, everyone. So now we are going to move on to the Hifumi character. She is the shogi player that you meet, and you basically learn battle strategies from her as you kind of go along. At first, you're kind of just learning from her. She's supposed to be the star like player. Like everyone like looks up to her. She's like the number one. She's like one of the first females, I believe, that's like gotten to such a competitive level and like has had such a good winning streak. And as you kind of go along, you figure out, well, that may not be what she wants. She loves shogi, but it's not necessarily like it's something that I guess you can say she's passionate about, but there's a certain point where you have to like split it between like is it passion or am I just like doing this to win basically. And a lot of it has to do with her mother, like basically smothering her and like, but also putting her out like there. Smothering's a bad word for it. She puts her out there too much, and she's like, because she wants her to be better. She wants her to be the best, and she doesn't even want her to be a shogi player. She wants her to be the celebrity that everyone can like look up to, like TV shows, magazines, stuff like that. And that's not really what she wants, and she kind of confines that in you as the protagonist. What she's really searching after. She is one of the better confidants, in my opinion, to max out. And I think that's an unpopular opinion, but I personally think she's one of the better ones to max out. She has a really good story, for one. I really enjoyed like looking like I enjoyed hanging out with her, and I I think that she's one of the better ones. To be honest, I really liked her character arc. Um, the romance is pretty cute between her um, and the protagonist, in my opinion. I think they just make a really good couple. Like she's one of the better ones that aren't in your team that would make a good like a good character to like romance, I think. And and it makes sense to me for the protagonist. Um I I will say though, with her story is severely lacking because she feels like she's not a big part of anything really, unfortunately. Um like in the grand scheme of things, she doesn't seem like she's very like proactive in what's going on in the story. She teaches you strategies, and that's about it. And you help her with her new strategies that she's trying to come up with. She's a really good character, though. I really enjoyed her. I have never finished a run where I romanced her, but I will say I really wish I did. She is very she's just a very like good character. She really just makes like um a lot of the hangout missions like really fun. I love like hearing her dialogue. And she's funny to me, in my opinion. She's funny as fuck. So I'm gonna put her at A. I think she belongs in A. She's just a really good character to like romance. I'm gonna have to speed up a little bit on these because I'm talking way too much. Let's go on to the next one. This one right here, I don't even have to explain. I'm sorry, everyone. If anyone likes this character, I'm so sorry, but I have played this game multiple times through, and she's one of the few that I will skip almost every time. I don't care. Her confidant for me isn't worth doing. Her storyline is bad. Bad attitude, bad personality. I would if I was the protagonist of this story, I would never get along with her. I would she because she's her personality is she's drunk all the time. I know there's a backstory. I know because I played it before. No one jump on me on this, but her personality is she's drunk, and it's not a good one. It's just like it's not a good look. She's just not fun to be around, and I just personally I don't fuck with her. So she's going straight to D. I'm sorry about it. Um, I let's go ahead and pop this right here, mainly because I mean they're basically the same people. Like unless you're just looking by looks, but they look the same anyway, so it doesn't matter, and they're still kids basically. Um, but I mean Coraline Justin, they're just like Lavenza. Of course, they're the same people. They have good personalities. They're split up. Um, and they're fun to hang out with. I'll admit that. I love hanging out with these like I'm gonna call them goobers. That's what they are. They're literally just like goofballs, silly billies, if you will. They are just they're fun to be around, but you should never date them. That's just not gonna. You should don't even think about it. I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna pretend like nobody likes them like that. And we're just gonna move on. Okay, Kasumi Yoshizawa. If you played the game, if you played Royal, and you played through the Royal part of the game, and you people know what I'm talking about when I say that, she to me is one of the better additions to the game. And I'm not saying that out of bias. I just think that she adds a lot to the game as a whole. Because not only are you like, she's the main part of Royal basically. She's also got parts in the main game where you meet up with her and you hang out with her. And I think it's really cool how they split it up to where you hang out with her for one half of her confidant, and when the royal part comes, then you unlock the second part of her confidant if you did the first part. If you don't know, you have to reach a certain amount of like I'm gonna call them confidant ranks. That's what they are. With certain characters in order to unlock the royal part of the game. The later, the third semester, I believe, is what it is. So when you do that, it opens up a whole lot about this character. The story to me was really good. I enjoyed like I honestly when I got to the point where I was rocking with my crew, and I know what you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil too much. I'm not trying to like just ruin the entire game for everybody, but when you get like with the crew in the royal part of the game, I was like fanboying. I was like livid. I was like, this is amazing. I'm enjoying this so much. But the concept of it overall is really good. I really liked it. I thought that I think that with her story arc, it really just like kind of put a bow tie on everything. It just really encapsulated everything. Um, just so everyone's aware, I'm going to be 100% open and honest. She was the person that I romanced in my last playthrough because it was Royal. This is the first time I've been Royal as a whole. So I wanted to romance the new character. And it felt very rewarding. Honestly, it felt like it was worth doing. Um, I I really enjoyed her character as well because she almost seems like the protagonist's counterpart. She seems like the perfect like match for him almost like, but they're like opposites. So it kind of works in that favor to me. Um, I'm gonna put her not above Hifumi, but I'm gonna put her behind at A tier. She's really good. I would highly recommend at least anyone playing the game and playing through the royal part finish her confidant. Please, it is worth it. It is worth it. Next, we have the ever so controversial Makoto Niijima. I know what everyone's thinking, and I know because everyone talks about it. There's the people that will kiss the ground that Makoto walks on, kiss her feet that are bare, that have been sweating all day long, and they will literally eat her saliva. Like they would do it, and I I don't know what to say to that because there's other people. It's kind of like the Futaba situation. There's other people that just think she's just plain. She's just boring. She's a boring character. She has no personality. She's quite literally a robot, as according to the game. And so this is a hard one because personally, I really did like her character. Um, I romanced her the first time I ever played the game, and she was interesting enough to me for me to say that's the one I want to romance when I first played the game. It makes it hard for me to rank her because she does have a very good confidant hangout missions, and I think she has very good backstory. Um, but a lot of it has to do probably to me in my mind with her character design. I think that like makes me like fall in love with her because I love her character design, and like when she gets her persona, like when she gets her outfit, like I love all that stuff. So it's a little biased in that sense or that regard, because I just really like the way she's designed her character model. But right now we're just looking at her confidant and her personality and everything like that. So it is with a heavy heart I put Makoto Niijima at a low A tier, right behind Kasumi. Um, she is a queen, but today she's only going to be a princess. Very unfortunate. Um, Next up, we have the sister, Sae Niijima. I can't say much about this character because she is a very lovely character. I mean, everyone can admit she's beautiful. I mean, she's drop dead gorgeous. I mean, this right here, I cannot believe that they took the option to date her away from me. They stole that from everybody. If you don't know, look it up. she was a dateable character at some point, before they decided to take it out. Um, that haunts me still to this day. Um, I I really like her, but as far as her story and how it goes, it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with romancing or anything like that. It mainly has to do with why you get to the point that you are at the end of the game, and that's why it feels like she's there mainly. Um, and I I really like her, but I think I don't want to put my bias in here. She's a great character, beautiful, but she's gonna have to go in the B tier, right, right in front of Futaba. She's going high B tier because she is really nice, and I do think I like her character more if they fleshed her out more, but they don't really give her a whole lot of time to be her own character, if that makes sense. Um, she feels like she kind of piggybacks on the Phantom Thieves and the rest of the crew, um, for her story. Even though she does have a backstory, it's kind of, um, and she has her own stuff going on, obviously, but it almost feels second to like what's actually going on. So I'm gonna have to put her at high B. Okay, up next we have the queen herself, Dr. Tae Tameki. She is, quite frankly, one of my favorite characters in the game, mainly because she's so funny to me, and she also has a really good like, oh, I don't care what anyone thinks about me. I'm just a loner. I don't like it doesn't bother me none. Like get out of my sight. But she's a softie, and like, but she's also a mommy. You know what I'm saying? She's she's a very interesting character. I I really enjoyed doing um, hers as well because I think she has really good hangout missions as well. Um, and she's got one of the better confidants in my opinion to buy medicine from her and like get better stuff, and like some of the stuff you can buy from her is ridiculous. I don't even know how it should be allowed. Um, but I say that she is, um, definitely one of the better personalities, and she's one of the better characters to me, in the whole game. Um, I'm gonna have to stick her at A tier, but right behind Makoto though, I believe. Um, she's just, I mean, she's a lot of fun. So I gotta say that she's one of my favorites. And I'm gonna go ahead and move to the last one because we are almost out of time. I've been talking way too much. The Mommy Kawakami. This one's tough too. This one's tough. I hate it because I do like her. I don't like her as a romance option. She's sweet. I feel for her with what she's going through. Um, and it feels so good to get to the point. Spoiler alert! When you get to the point where she's like, "I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop doing this because it's not worth it," and like, I'm gonna get sued. I just want to teach. I'm gonna have to go back to my maid service job because I can't afford to like pay these people. And they come in and they come at her, and and you're standing there and you can just say like basically like what you gonna do about it. Like they're like, what are you doing here? And it's like, wouldn't you like to know? You know, it's the best feeling to like tell those people off. But she herself to me, I don't I it just don't feel right to romance her to me. Um, like it feels, if weirdly enough, it feels like the thing that you just want to avoid almost. Like it's like she seems like she would be the worst like uh character to romance. And not because she's a bad character or anything, or that she's even like a bad character to romance, but for the character and the protagonist, it really seems like you would kind of get in, a lot deeper than what you already are if you romanced her. Um, so that's unfortunate. But I do really like her. I think I'm gonna put her at B tier. I'm having a hard time deciding if I just put her at a higher point in B tier or a lower point. I can't. I'm gonna stick her between. No, I'm putting her at the end, low B tier, very low. I'm sorry, everyone. That's just how it has to be. Um, this is my completed list of the the waifus from Persona 5 Royal. Just to get a rundown real quick, we got Haru at S tier, where she belongs in my opinion. Hifumi at high A tier. Kasumi at high A tier. Makoto at low A tier, and Takamaki at a low A tier. Then we got Sae at high B tier, Futaba at a high B tier, on about mid B tier, and Chihaya at the low B tier, and Kawakami at low B tier. With for C tier, we have the wardens basically. We got Lavenza, and we got Caroline and Justine here, all at C tier, and then of course the bottom of the barrel we have this monstrosity. I'm so sorry to anyone who likes her. That's gonna wrap up the list. That's my thoughts on it. Anyone who agrees with me, sound off. If you don't agree with me, sound off. I want to hear if anyone has a problem because I'm correct and you're wrong. But if you have a sound argument, I might read it. Let me know. I'm genuinely curious what everyone thinks. I think it's hard to put more than one person at S tier though. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I think it's hard to put multiple people in S tier because that's like the top. That's like the best. You can't have they don't give like trophies to first place winners like twice. Like they don't do it in one sitting. It's like, oh well, you tried. Here's another first medal. First place trophy for you because you did about the same. No, they gotta choose a winner. So only one in S tier for me. But yeah, that's the completed list. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, this is kind of something I just wanted to do because I was like, I kind of want to. I just finished playing Royal, so I kind of wanted to try it out and see like who I like the best, and like kind of reevaluate it because I played the original multiple times. So after my first Royal run through, I wanted to kind of reevaluate that. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you liked it, you know what to do. If you didn't like it, I'm so sorry, but you can still subscribe. That'd be great. I mean, I'm gonna give you more opinions that you may not want to hear, but you know how that goes. As always, guys, this has been Obediently Yours, Count Silver, signing off.